Okay, so on your test there will be a section where I just give you general form equations and you have to say, boom, that's a what shape? So this one is going to be a what when you look at it?
Circle.
Circle. Same x squareds and y squareds, so that's why it's a circle, and obviously it's adding. Okay, so change it to standard form. So x squared minus 8x, grouping x's, y squared plus 2y, grouping the y's, equals 8. Okay, there's my groupings. And then blank. Complete the square. So half squared, got that? 16. Balance it out. And half 1 squared is 1. Balance it out. Okay, and then you write them as perfect squares. So x minus 4, y plus 1. Okay, so there's your circle. We have a center at 4, -1, and the radius is 5. 4, and I think I give you graphs like this so that you have the flexibility to put your center where you want. So if my center is already at 4, I'm going to kind of draw my axis not in the middle. You know what I mean? Because I already knew it was over to the right 4. Okay, reminder not to put a point on the center. So there's just your little light X, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will not judge your circle drawing. I will not deduct to say this is not perfectly circular. You probably could see questions about domain and range, I would think, attached to that. Okay. All right, next one. Boom, what is it? Ellipse. I'm adding, but they're different. Okay, so same idea. I'm going to group the X stuff together, group the Y stuff together, and move the number. Okay, so this one you're going to have to GCF the 9 out, which we didn't do on the last one, so that comes first. So that's what it would look like, and then blank is after the 6 now, so half of the 6. So plus 9. So I'm actually going to have to balance it with an 81, right? That's a common thing to miss. Make sure you balance it with the 81. Okay, so 9 perfect square would be x plus 3. The y perfect square okay, what do I have to divide by here? I'm going to have to divide by 36 because the goal is to get it equals 1 on that equation with an ellipse. Okay, now on this first one, if you divide by 36, there was already a 9 there. So just thinking about reducing the 9 divided by 36 would cause a 1/4. Okay? Does everybody see that the circle equation can be the ellipse equation? If I just divided this by 25, but then it's a circle because they both have a 25 on the bottom, right? That's why that equation is like that. Okay, so we got a center at -3, 2. And then, does anybody have a good word? I don't know. I'd like to just call this a radius, but it's not really. The x horizontal radius, we'll say, is 2. And the vertical radius is 6. Okay, so you need to do that. It's -3, 2. I'm going to just draw my axis a little off-centered here. So again, I give you a blank slate so you can figure out where you want to put your axis. Okay, and then this one I actually did say what is the domain and range. So, what was this? We were at a 2 and we went down 6, so the -4, this is the range, sorry. -4, this was a 2 plus 6, so that you should have got up to an 8. And the domain, we were at -3, so we got to go 2 lower than that, so -5 to -1. Okay, I also might ask you this question: what are the major and minor axis amounts? So how long is the major axis? What's the longest axis? It'd be this one, which is now how far? Should be 12, right? So I'm probably going to ask those questions. And then the minor ended up being 4. Okay? You can also see in my domain and range, -4 to 8, that's 12 apart from each other. -5 to -1 is 4 apart. So all those things tie in. So be ready for those questions. Major, minor, axis, domain, range. Okay, name the shape. What is the shape? Hyperbola, because there's a plus and a minus. And then we said the vertical style because it's a positive y squared, so that makes it the vertical one. Okay, I'm actually going to rewrite this with grouping my y's first. So y squared plus 2y you don't have to, but it probably would look better, minus, and then group the x's, move the number. Okay, so you can see the y trinomial, and then onto the x trinomial, I need you to get the -9 out of it. Okay, and then you're ready for your blanks once you have your simple trinomial. So divide by 2 and squared. Okay, think about what you need to balance it out. You're going to have to do a +1 and what should I do there? -36. Right? You see, I'm not going to add, I'm going to subtract. Okay, so y + 1 squared is the perfect square. Subtract 9 bracket perfect square. (81). Okay, and again, I need you to get me an equals 1 on the equation because that's the format. So you're going to divide by 81. Okay, and in this one, when you divide by 81, there's just a reduction with a 9 and an 81. Okay, so our center is going to be 2, -1. 81 is under the y, so that's going to be the vertical, whatever, radius is going to be 9, 9. And horizontally, this doesn't work so, oh yeah, 9. Wow, I just said the square root of 9 wasn't a nice number, but it is, yeah. Monday brain. 3 and 3. Okay, so give me a box. So 2, -1, go 3 left, right, and put an X. Didn't even give you enough paper.
This will just be 3.
Uh-huh.
Didn't even have enough paper.
But you have to go, 9 up. Your slope is 3, but you still have to go 9 up. But when you write your equation, then you can do that. So yes, you're off the paper. Or,
It's just wrong.
yeah, yours would have been if then there was a 9 and a 1 under. So on these questions with hyperbolas, I probably would ask questions like, what are the coordinates of the vertices? Could ask you that. So you'd have to figure out this vertex and this vertex. Okay, I obviously on this question said what's the domain and the range, so we can answer that. And I would ask your equations of your asymptotes as well. So we may as well do, actually let's just do all of this Okay, so first of all, what is this coordinate? It is the same x, so 2 comma, what would be the height on that? So we were at -1, and we should be 9 higher, so we should be at 8. And then this one is 2 comma, -1, 9 lower. You should have hit a -10 then, right? Okay, so domain is anything. Domain is anything. And then the range is 2 things. You got to put 2 chunks together. So -infinity to -10. Exactly, square bracket. And then you get to go again from 8. Okay, and then I will ask you about the slope of the asymptotes. So this line and this line. So rise over run. For this one, I would have gone up 9, right 3. So I would just reduce that. So the plus minus 3 would be the slopes. Okay, you always need a plus minus or else you're going to lose a point. It's on the test, so plus minus slopes, right? All right, last shape. What is it? So we have a y squared, and then we don't have any x squareds at all. So this is a parabola, and which one? Should be a horizontal one. Okay, complete the square. So give me your y's grouped. And nope. I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to leave the x and the number alone. And I'm going to move the y stuff. Okay, so complete the square with the y portion. What's 48 divided by 3? Is that 16? Blank. 64. Okay, subtract a 192 to even it back out. There we go. So this isn't a center, it's a vertex of 4, 8. And we should be heading left because -3. Okay, so 4, 8. So I'm going to draw my axis low. You can actually put a dot there. It doesn't need to be an X because it's part of the graph on the parabolas. And I'm going to do a maneuver of 1, 3. 1, 3. Just for fun, let's make a second move. Going back to your vertex, what's your second move here? 2, and then What should we do if we do 2 moves? 12, yeah. Because 2 is normally moving 4. So 2 and then 12. Okay, obviously with this question, domain and range, I could ask you. We're not going to practice. You guys should be pros at domain and range. But also this, what is the axis of symmetry? What's the equation for the axis of symmetry? So like if I was to cut it in half and fold it like a sandwich, what's the equation of that? It should be a y equals, because it's flat, y equals 8. Okay? Obviously, if your parabola is the other way, you have a cut, you're going to have an x equals cut, right? Good? So those are basically everything you would need to know. Axis of symmetry, domain ranges, things like that. Okay, making equations, we have a hyperbola. The vertices are 5, 8, and 5, 4. So 5, 8, and 5, 4 would both be in quadrant 1. So there, that's kind of my visual. You don't have to draw. I'm just a visual person, so it helps me. Okay, so what do you know about which one is positive? The y squared part is going to be positive. Okay, let's figure out the center of this then. What's right in the middle of those? 5, comma, what height? 6? Does that make sense to where I'm going with that? So I'm going to go y minus 6 squared, x minus 5 squared. Okay, so far the first thing I did was say which one is positive, which one's subtracting, and then the center. Okay, and then the slope is 1/5, but let's see here. How much did you go up there? 2. How much am I going to have to run by? 10. See what I did there? The slope was 1/5, but I knew that was 2. I didn't go up 1. So if I go up 2, that means I would have had to have jotted over 10. Okay, so this is what happened. There's your 1/5 slope, because I gave it to you reduced, so you did a 2/10. So what number are you going to put under y, and which one are you going to put under x? So the y, you should be putting a 4, and under the x, did you put 100? How's that look? Good? Does that kind of make sense? So that one would be on the test. That's a lot of good thinking there. You have to understand a lot of things. The slope, the reduction. Okay, make an equation for a circle. This is its domain and range. So we went from 1 to 9. We went from a 1 to a 9. So what x value would be in the middle of that? Would be 5 would be in the middle of that? And in the range, we went from a -6 to a 2. So what's in the middle of that? -6 to 2. What's in the middle? -2, right? So I knew how to figure out my center from understanding those numbers. And what's our radius? So what was there? There's a 5 to a 9, so our radius is 4. Or you can say these are 1 to 9 is 8 apart. Radius is 4. Okay, wherever you like to look, on the drawing, on the domain, whatever they are apart, it's half. So give me the full, so x minus 5 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 16. Okay, so get your info, then convert it. Make sure you're following your format. And tomorrow I'm going to give you a blank paper with the formulas, and you got to label them all. Okay, and then I will come around and double check them just as you move forward with your test to make sure you're doing them with the right formula. Okay, a parabola has a vertex at -1, 8. And it has a domain from -1 to infinity. The domain is -1 to infinity, so it must look like that. So this is going to be a parabola that's horizontal, so I'm going to need to have a y squared and an x. I can't have an x squared in this one. So x plus 1 equals y minus 8 squared. And really, you don't need anything more, but do you understand that this would just make sure it's a positive number? And I can leave it because it's a positive 1. But if it had gone the other way, I would need to throw a negative number in there, right? So if you really want, you can put like a 5 in there. I don't care. But this, just the understanding that that would have to be a positive number. Okay, write the equation and get the major and minor axis. Oh, do you like that I erased probably the center point here or something? Can you see it on my paper? Okay, I'm just going to give myself some ticks here. That's a -1 and that's a 9. So 4 should be the number right in the middle of that then, right? And then I'm going to give myself some tick marks. What am I at here? This is a -4. And that's a 2. So 4, -1 is the center. Okay, so there's my info. Center. The horizontal radius part is 5 each way. How much are we doing vertical each way? We're going 3. Okay, so x minus 4 squared, y plus 1 squared is the center part of it. Okay, so under the x, it looks like we went horizontally 5, so I need a 25 under that. And then I had a 3, so 9 is under that. Okay, the last one. Now we have, it says a parabola. The vertex is 6, 4. So there's the vertex, and it has a range. Negative infinity to 4 is the range. So the range, so this is my parabola. Okay, so when it looks like that, it's going to have a y and an x squared, right? That's the type of parabola it is. Okay, so we're going to go y minus 6 equals x minus 4 squared.
Wouldn't it be minus 4?
Y minus 4.
Y minus 4. Flip those around. Thank you. Y minus 4, x minus 6. There. Thank you. And then it looks like this. So what do I know? I need a negative number in there to make it flip upside down. So you can honestly put any number you want. -2, -5, anything, as long as I see some kind of negative number in there.